Welcome to today's podcast. I've got Matt Bevilacqua here, mate. How are you?
Very well, thanks, Greg.
For those of you who are not sure of what that name is, that is one of the best Ironman Australia's ever produced.
It's a very nice introduction, actually.
Let's hear your story, mate.
Welcome to the Body Science Podcast, bringing you everything you need, want, and should know about health, fitness, nutrition, and training. As always, the information contained in this podcast is for the information purposes only and is not designed to diagnose or be prescriptive to treat, prevent, or manage any injury, disease, or other health-related condition.
Today's podcast is brought to you by BCEAA Ultra, our new all-in-one BCAA and EAA Elite Amino Formula. This cutting-edge formula provides you with the building blocks for lean muscle gain and helps you work through even the most brutal training session. Not just a BCAA supplement, BCEAA Ultra delivers a full spectrum of essential amino acids in effective doses and is 100% vegan-friendly. With a massive 5 grams of BCAAs and 7 grams of EAAs, plus added L-glutamine, BCEAA Ultra is your weapon for lean muscle repair and maintenance, helping you recover faster from those punishing workouts.
Welcome to Body Science HQ, the world of fit, happy, healthy. I'm going to add on the end of this one, Ironman. From what I hear, you are very popular in Lycra, and that's something that being fit and healthy is all about. And young, and mate, let's talk about you. Do you want to give us some background as to, you won the Ironman series last year before last?
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Yeah, you and our favourite Brielle, 1-1.
Amazing day.
Yeah, and partners in life as well. So, mate, what made a Tasmanian-born athlete want to become an Ironman?
Yeah, it's a really unique story, you know, and I'm the only Tasmanian to make the series, let alone win one. So it goes to show just how big the sport is down there and the kind of numbers that would go through nippers down there and in surf clubs. So I just had a love for the beach and I just enjoyed the sport more than anything in the world. And I wasn't talented at it. Many of the top Ironmen are kind of very talented through the junior years and win Australian titles in underage groups. And I never even made a final, you know, couldn't make it out of a heat. But I had a love for my sport, and I think that's kind of defined my whole career. Is I've really loved what I've done, no matter what stage of my preparation or whatever's going on. Is I've always come back to that love of my sport, and it's got me to where I am.
And you had to leave the family to actually pursue the sport. Like it wasn't a simple, like for a lot of us that live on the east coast of Australia and get the water every day. Like being a Gold Coast boy now, you know what I'm talking about. So it's a tough gig.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously I speak to Brielle all the time because she's grown up on the Gold Coast.
Absolutely.
Yeah. At the beach. We're very contrasting like that because, you know, I grew up in the snow. I used to go up to the snow up the mountain above Hobart at lunchtime during the school break and come back with a tray load of snow in the back of the ute. And, you know, we'd wait for a point swell, which is very, very rare in winter, where we'd get a wave. And, you know, so different to the Gold Coast where you could, you know, swim in an outdoor pool. I didn't know what an outdoor pool was. Yeah. And so just a really different lifestyle. And when I turned 18, I had to move away and left all family and friends. And being Tasmanian, we're very close, you know, and, you know, it's a really, really nice community down there. And I was thrown in the deep end, you know, moved in with Matt Poole and Josh Minogue. Matt had just been sponsored by Red Bull and was flying high, almost won a series that year. And what so began a roller coaster journey, you know, and it's been a wild ride.
So Tasmania, whereabouts in Tasmania were you based?
So Hobart, yeah, Clifton Beach Surf Club, which is kind of one of the southeast arms off the bottom of Tassie. And we get a nice southerly systems through there, roll off Antarctica, and went to school in Hobart. And yeah, that's where it all began, and had to move up to sunny Queensland.
And how many people are in the surf club at Clifton?
You know, very traditional surf clubs. I suppose the membership would be around 200.
Okay.
Including everyone. Yeah. So it still has like good members and a really great culture. And I think that's, you know, why I love surf clubs wasn't just racing, wasn't just the sport. It was the whole community-based aspect of it. And I just felt right at home there. And the surf clubs allow you to travel the world. It made the move really easy. And I love Clifton Beach. And it's just, you know, it's just a shed down there. It's people go down, they patrol the beaches at its core, and they keep people safe. And that's the fundamentals of what we do, and beautiful part of our sport. And I loved it for that.
Nice. So, mate, who was the driver for you to actually leave home? Because you're a teacher. You obviously were going to go to uni and do all those things that you've done. Like, step aside from that. Who was the driver that said, mate, you need to get out of here and go chase your dream? Yeah,
so it's an interesting thing. I studied very hard in year 12. I was very, very academic, and I almost scored in the top 5%. I was top 5%. I was almost in the top 100 scorers in Tassie for my ATAR. So I got into medicine down home with that score, and all I needed to do was the medicine's admissions test. So I thought, well, I didn't. My parents were really supportive of me going and doing a gap year and getting that med admissions test done in my gap year and enjoying something different in the meantime, because 6 years of med was what was going to follow. So, I took advantage of that. I wasn't complacent and I went for it. I flew up to Queensland and landed in Sunny Coast Airport. Someone was picking me up from Brisbane, but that's another story entirely. Sitting there in my clubby board at Sunny Coast Airport for an extra 2 hours. I did my medicines admissions test and smashed it. So I qualified for med back home the next year. Wouldn't have got me in up here on the mainland, but was going to be a doctor and fell in love with the sport, fell in love with the boys, fell in love with the lifestyle of training and being healthy and not so much the books. So teaching was something I'd always loved, and that became my profession, side by side with sport. But so different how stories can.
That's amazing, isn't it? There's not many people that say I gave up medicine to be an Ironman. Hey, and you won too. Like congratulations to you. You're the number one in the world there for, when did that happen?
2017, 2018 it was.
2018.
Yep.
Nice. So, man, I first met you with Brielle at Supercars. We asked Brielle to come along to Supercars and we had a really fun day together. And what I've really enjoyed is watching you grow in the sport beyond just the competitor. Like, you've done some really fucking crazy things on a clubby boards that most people would, like, when I talk to people about it, they just go, yeah, he's a nut. Is that, you're a nut?
Yeah. No,
like, we know you're smart, but are you a nut?
Yeah, he's definitely not smart as he looks, is he? But I think that passion that I spoke about is really attractive to a lot of people, and especially Nutri-Grain as a brand, or people that want to.
And they've been great to you, haven't they?
They have, and they've been bad as well. Throwing me down waves at Shipstern Bluff in Tassie. And
I want to chat about that in a minute.
Yeah, I think like I said, that passion really is attractive. So they're like, let's see what this kid can do and give him an opportunity, and he'll make the most of it. And I like to think that if I do get an opportunity, I'll take it the right way and I'll finish it. So I'm really appreciative of those opportunities, and I think I'm lucky. But then at the same time, I think I've always loved this thing that I'm doing, and those opportunities have come because of that.
So mate, you've brought up Shippies. I mean, it's obviously not. We'll do this out of order. We'll just talk about the cool stuff first, if that's cool with you, mate. How did you convince firstly the crew at Shippies that you should be, because it's a pretty local spot. Like Mark Matthews tells me, there's a lot of people down there and they love their spot and they're very true. I mean, you're a Tassie boy, so obviously you're a little bit different to what he would be. But how did you convince firstly Nutri-Grain that you should do that, and secondly that to yourself and your parents that you were going to actually do that?
Yeah, it's a great question. At the time, I was about 21 when the idea first came to me, and I just broke into the series, and my first series was very tough, massive swell, and in the final round I got third on the podium to Shannon and Kai, which just blew me away. It just opened my mind. So it just opened my mind to what was possible in life, and I'd already had a crazy, belief and dreams and things like that. And this just blew the roof off. And I was like, what can we do with this? Nutri-Grain seemed like an awesome brand. They want to do some cool stuff, let's see. And so I came up with the idea kind of with Nutri-Grain together. And so I emailed Marty Paradisus, who grew up at Clifton Beach Surf Club, same as me.
Is that right?
Yeah, I used to paddle one of his old boards, actually. It's a small community down there, so not so coincidental. But I emailed him, and I still got the email, and I wish I could quickly bring it up, but basically said, Marty, what do you reckon? Do you reckon I could paddle a surf ski down Shipstern? that was the initial idea, was a surf ski and a clubby board. Surf ski and a clubby board.
That's even more stupid.
And his reply blew me out of the water. I was just like, and just, fueled that adrenaline that I already had. He said, yeah, why not, mate? Let's give it a go.
Wow.
So, that was the first email way back when. It was another 2 years in the making before we actually got it done. But the first email's there and what sparked it. And Nutri-Grain ran with it and really backed me. A brand getting behind such a risky stunt is, as you know, really tough.
Well, I could say that wouldn't end well, but I saw the video. It didn't end well.
No, it didn't. But we did the training for it, and all the risk management was done. And I went and trained with Nam Baldwin down here in the Gold Coast and got ready for it.
For what?
Yeah, just for the wipeout and for the hold down and for but it's mental strategies. There's nothing physical you can do when you get pumped by a 12-foot slab. It's just it's all in your head. So it all stems from there. All the breath holding techniques are all mental, and I learned so much. Not just for that, but for racing, and still use it to this day.
Mate, from that mental side, like what type of things were they teaching you? Because I've watched 1,000 videos there and going, yep, I will never surf that spot. And I love to. I'm a massive, surfing's my sport, but there's a point where I go, no, I don't need that? Like what did you two do together in that 2 years leading up to it? Was it week after week after week of training, or is it like he didn't tell you to starfish and count to 12 and feel like you're doing a disco dance, or all the crap I've heard from my mates that go to Fiji and go, just act like you're dancing underwater? Like,
oh, wow. Yeah, no, I haven't heard that one. But yeah, it wasn't 2 weeks of preparation, you know, it was 2 weeks of the idea building. And then when Nutri-Grain said, all right, we're going, it was, you know, months. It was just getting it together, 3 or 4 months of just, you know, quick do a fish test in Vietnam. We've got winter. We got this window, you know, to get the swell nice and clean down there is hard because you get a nice southerly swell every day, but then you also have 40, 50 knot westerlies most days. So can't have that, which is a cross shore wind over there. So we needed to make for the perfect day and we needed to be ready to go. So I only got probably 3 sessions with Nam, and it's all about based around a 15-minute breath hold warm-up kind of thing. So it's all about speed in breath to diaphragm breathing in through your mouth, in through your nose, and then purging really fast, and in through your mouth and purging through, in through your nose, purging through your mouth for about 15 minutes. And that really oxygenates your blood. So your lungs are just digesting pure oxygenated blood, getting rid of the CO2, and basically feels like you've had a coffee. When you're doing it properly for 15 minutes, you feel amazing. And that's what meditation's around. I think it's all related. And so in the boat ride over, I was doing that, and all the oxygen in your blood. And even if you hit the flats and get compressed your lungs and lose all the oxygen in your body, so you're going down to the bottom without a breath, worst case scenario, obviously.
Yeah, because it's pretty deep there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's reasonably deep, but in saying that, it's a slab, so it's, you know, kind of, there's some rocks there. Yeah, so you have enough oxygen in your blood to last a fair while. And we did it in practice. It was amazing to do, you know, just to listen to the science of it, see it. Host these training sessions for anyone if you wanted to go and do them. And you can go to the bottom, he'll expel all your best. So you sink straight to the bottom of the diving pool, sit there, 2 minutes. Wow. Easy. Yeah. Obviously mental as well. You need to, while you're breathing, calm, confident, you know, think positive, think about dancing, whatever. But it works. And it did. Yeah. When you see the wipeout footage at Shippies, you see I'm pure limp, rolling, cartwheeling down the face. Yeah. I'm not focused on what's happening externally. It's all internal and chill.
So you were ready for it at that stage?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It was very violent, as I remember it, but it wasn't distressing at all. And I did cop another one as soon as I got my head up before I could get picked up by the ski. And I remember not my heart rate rising at all, which is good.
How long were you under for? Like, how long were you?
Oh, it was very violent but quick. So it was probably, you know, under 8 seconds, I reckon, the first hold down. And
what did it feel like? Minutes?
Yeah. And I hit the bottom, but I was
did you?
5 mil wetty, booties, gloves, hood, you know, there's so much rubber. And I'll never forget Marty saying in one of the trips, one of the recce's down there, just to see him and have a chat to him personally, he said, oh, you'll get pinballed off the boulders. They're really nice boulders. You'll get pinballed. You'll be a big gumball getting pinballed. And I was like, okay, this sounds great.
So what happened when you hit? Any damage?
Nah, I hurt my thumb just every time I went down the step. I was really motivated to catch the wave. I really wanted to. I'm not a great surfer with clubby board. I never grew up in surf like the boys here on the Gold Coast. There's a lot of Ironmen that could have probably done it a lot better than I did. Yeah. So I was keen to prove them wrong, you know, and catch it properly and get a nice barrel and get a good wave. So coming down the step, the board kept falling away from me because we're only on our knees. So you don't have that length of compression you do as a surfer. Yeah. On your feet, you can compress and absorb a lot of shock. On your knees, you can't. So the board kept falling away. I wasn't strapped in, could never be strapped in. So I kept holding the board with the handle to my knees, you know, so my thumb popped out kind of thing. It was very painful, but, you know, nothing bad. So yeah, that was all.
How many waves did you catch that day?
I got one good one, made a good one, which is on the clip, and 2 bad wipeouts and maybe 3 other just small ones we did in the warm-up, which were really fun. Yeah. But not the shot they were looking for, and got the wipe out, and I'm pretty sure they were done. That's all they wanted. They wanted to see me wipe out.
That's a hell of a lot. If people want to catch that, where can they see it?
So it's down past Port Arthur in Hobart. So Clifton Beach, my surf club, is kind of the first arm as you're heading east out of Hobart. Yep. And then the second arm is Shipstern Bluff, which is at the end of it. You go past Eaglehawk Neck and a beautiful part of the world down there, past Port Arthur where the old convicts used to be. And that's Shipstern Bluff. A beautiful walk in there now. It's all kind of made up and you can walk in there easy to the lookout, and then you can walk all the way down and check it out. Yeah, nice. And it's just a magical part of the world. Honestly, it takes your breath away.
So mate, as part of doing this, what do you call it? Content piece, event, stunt. I could come up with some stupid words to wrap around it as well. You obviously couldn't just ring someone up and say, hey, I want to do this. You had to put the plan together for the whole concept.
Yeah, I mean, Nutri-Grain were really good. They backed me completely and came up with an idea. And, you know, it's a credit to the brand. And you're very similar. You know, you just want to do do other things to grab people's attention. And our sport, you know, has dropped out of the limelight in the last, 30 years or so. And I love this sport. I think it's one of the most entertaining products on the planet. And I just wanted to showcase it. And, if it meant me, catapulting down a wave, put a couple of other 1,000 people's faces on this sport to check it out, so be it, So they were very motivated to put together a good story. And the story was there. It wasn't just me going down and catching a wave. It was going back home and, proving to Tassie that I could do it and, prove to myself more than anything. It was, so they put it together and I worked with them to obviously make it as good as I could, and talking with my parents and things like that. It was a very symbolic thing, making the series, conquering shippies kind of thing. It all worked together really well, and I'm so stoked to have that sport.
Yeah, nice.
Today's podcast is brought to you by Collagen Regenerate, Australia's first advanced collagen peptide for tendons and ligaments, supported by intensive clinical trials, research and a comprehensive AIS study. Collagen Regenerate sits proudly within the body science range as the most researched and most versatile collagen on the market. Whether you're a professional athlete, functional trainer, recovering from injury, an endurance sports athlete, runner, weekend warrior, aspiring young athlete, or general elderly population, Collagen Regenerate has something to offer you. Exclusive to Body Science with 50 milligrams of vitamin C to assist in connective tissue synthesis, this product truly is in a league of its own.
And you backed that up with another stunt. Is that the right word to use?
Yeah, why not?
And we're going to talk big waves, helicopters and pro surfers all together in one spot. Is that right?
Yeah. So they were very, obviously Nutri-Grain was stoked with that product. And so, we ran with it. We came up with an idea to get towed into a wave with a helicopter and have Taj Burrow show us how it's done. And just another beautiful location in South Island of New Zealand, which is the west coast, and it's all fjordland. So it's an old glacier that's melted. And so it's basically, I don't know how tall the mountains are, but you can't see the tops from the bottom, and it drops straight vertically into water. And it's these big, they call them sounds, like just beautiful waterways, snow-covered mountains, and up and over the helicopter, touch the top of the mountain and straight back down. And you basically have beautiful west coast swells that smash the coast. And the minute that wind drops off, you've just got amazing waves. And Taj Burrow had, a list of 100 people who wanted to talk to this guy who ran this camp, because all his mates, all the pro surfers go to this spot.
Okay.
They love it, and it's so remote. They get the waves to themselves, and obviously not the heckling. So, we towed into a wave with a helicopter.
Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it? Crazy. Mate, let's talk about you. Let's get back to you as the pure competitive athlete. Outside of Ironman, a lot of people probably don't know that you're quite the distance man when it comes to the board as well. You've won yourself a few Molokai.
Yeah. So I think growing up in Tassie, it was so cold that we used to paddle downwind a lot, and I used to just enjoy it. It was a lot warmer, paddling into the wind down there. It's just icy cold. The wind chills you to your core, and coming back home, I used to enjoy it. I used to love it. And so that stuck with me throughout, my beginning stages as an Ironman. And this race in Hawaii is a beautiful race. It's you basically fly out of Oahu to this island called Molokai, 52 k's away, and you paddle back. So the trade winds prevailed during July, pushing you all the way to Oahu, and you can paddle an 18-foot board or something under 12. I paddled the 18-foot unlimited board, and they fly, open ocean swells up to 10 feet. I've got some really cool photos on my Instagram. It's just, it's a race of about 5 hours approximately. World records are under that, but you get to race catching waves. It's like surfing for 5 hours in a race. So there's, hundreds of competitors in the ocean in this channel called the Channel of Bones. It's like 2 k's deep or something. Eddie Akayo died out there, and just a beautiful part of the world again. I've got to see some pretty awesome locations around the world, and I get to do this race, and I love it. I'll be there next year, and obviously we've had this year off, but very,
how many times have you won that?
I've won that one last year, 5 from 5.
5 from 5.
So just it's a natural strength of mine is catching runs. I use that in my Ironman racing as well.
Yep.
Yeah, why not make the most of it?
Mate, what's the mindset here with you that pulled you out of Tasmania to train? Obviously, you had to come to a place where you need to train with people of similar ability to grow. Jump into Shipsterns and take off on a wave that no one even thought was a good idea, and still don't think it's a good idea. And then head over to Hawaii and take on, what'd you call it? The
Molokai to Oahu.
Yeah, the Channel of Bones. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Like, what made you as a young Tasmanian boy wanted to go? And obviously you're highly intelligent. We need to step back here. You could have been a doctor and all these things you could have done. And a lot of people probably don't know you teach mathematics at school now. Like you've grasped onto some, like I couldn't even contemplate doing mathematics in grade 12 or 11 with kids. It's way past my pay grade. But for you, you've just taken on all these challenges. What is it that drives a young human like you to be like this?
Yeah, it's a good question. Yeah, when you all put it like this, it sounds crazy. To me, it's kind of like just been, what am I going to do the next few months? Like, what's the next step? You always want to be doing something new.
Yeah.
You probably know that more than anyone. It's just, how can I advance? How can I make this a bit better? And I suppose it comes from, you don't want to finish up and have regrets. I don't want to be stagnant. It's boring. You only get one shot. And, I've got mates who excel in every part of life. I suppose you're naturally surrounded by them when you've got a mindset like this too.
Yeah.
But I just think, I always think, why didn't I play AFL? Like, why didn't I try and, I was not bad at AFL. I just don't want to have any regrets. I don't want to say, why didn't I do that? That hurts. Hurts not having a go with every fiber of your body at doing something. And I'm lucky to, be gifted pretty athletically. And I wasn't a standout when I was a junior at all, but also I'm pretty headstrong and love what I do. And so why not run with that? Make the most of it. Not everyone has a love like that. Not everyone, gets to be a professional athlete. And I'll never ever take that for granted. And like you said, going into school and seeing the teachers who are amazing people, and I love teaching. I love every part of that. But I'm also, got this other thing going that I will never take for granted, and I will make the most every second out of. Yeah, hopefully I've been doing that.
Awesome, mate. That's so awesome to hear like young Australians talking like that. How do you go in a classroom environment where you've got 20 odd kids in a class these days?
Yeah. I'm wondering if the kids will be thinking watching this.
And you'd be the best teacher at school. Don't worry about that. The younger generations now, us as parents, like me as a parent, I have treated my children very differently to the way my parents treated me. Like my dad was very much about make your own way, do your own thing. Whereas I'm more like, yeah, I can buy that. Yes, we can do that. We live near the beach. We can do all the, I used to have to ride 11 Ks to school, and no, I'm not going to tell on a horse or anything, the stories my dad tells how he went to school. But how do you take you, who is willing to try obviously anything and push yourself, into a teaching environment where every kid is different? I'm not worried about that, but I'm more talking about the kid that just sits in the corner and you go, you got so much potential, young man or young lady, but you teach in male school. You teach at TSS, don't you? Yeah. So young man, and why aren't you chasing it?
Yeah, great question. Yeah. And I was just
because it goes against everything you do.
Yeah,
everything you want to do is about being the best, and then you go into this, and some environments you can't.
You've got to step back and see it from their eyes. And I was watching Billions on Stan. Have you seen that show before?
Love it.
Yeah, and the rich stockbroker, I forget his name, and his wife have these kids that obviously have everything given to them. And his wife snapped one day. They were like, clicking at the chef to get their eggs in front of them, whatever. And she was like, "We didn't have this. We're in this spot because we were taught to work hard for what we do." I was similar to you. Like that's what my parents were like. They were like, "You earn. You've got $200 in your bank account. What do you want to buy?
Yeah.
You this is all you have. There's no easy option here.
Yep.
And nothing will come to this." So yeah, it is hard. So I think you've got to really paint the picture, and I try and teach from my experience, and that's from working hard to achieve something and it being worthy. From having to work for it. It's not, you get given something. It's not the same, and you'll never feel anything like working hard for something and achieving it. And so if I did come across a kid, in the back corner of the classroom, not motivated, not feeling it, I'm just like, mate, you don't have a look at what this would look like for you. Imagine if you achieved this. What if you got an A on this assignment and you got to go up to your mum and say, "You got this"? Do you reckon that'd feel good? I'm glad I've got a story to tell, and I'm glad I've got a YouTube just to prove it. And they're sitting on their whole classroom watching them. So
I bet they have.
Yeah, it's kind of frustrating, but teaching from experience, I think, and that's the best answer I got, I suppose.
And for the young people coming through that are trying to get corporate world going or whatever it is, how do you turn off the athlete to go to school? Because you've got to turn off some athlete attributes to hit school, otherwise teachers would hate working with you.
Yeah, true. I think it all kind of relates on a certain level, but yeah, I definitely have to go in there and switch my mindset and get back down to the kids and be on their level, and stop thinking about what I've got to do for my sponsor, my training, my what period of my training I'm up to. My mind's racing in that athlete capacity. But yeah, I don't think it's too hard to slow down and just see it from their eyes, and it's quite refreshing, to be honest, to put that hat on and step away from the sporting world and everything that comes with it, and sit there and talk to a kid about his fractions and how to add them or multiply them. So it's actually really good. And I think throughout my whole career, ever since I turned away from medicine when I was 18, I've always studied. Education took me 6 years or whatever, 4-year degree, 6 years. So always had that, even when I was studying, to just pull away from it all. And I think in this day and age as well, sporting's so dominating in everything. Scrolling through your Facebook, there's stuff. You've got to, as an athlete, you've got to kind of invest and make money in other ways as well. As an Ironman, you know, we're not making $500,000 a year.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to do things with your money very efficiently and effectively. And so that comes with being an athlete. You know, it's ever expanding world. So I've enjoyed having that escape.
Yeah, nice.
It still gives me a lump in my throat when we talk about the night before the final day of the series. You know, we're both in the box seat and stuff. That was just so nerve-wracking. And then like waking up and then going back to bed that night being both the winners. Like, yeah.
A big day.
Mate. And I suppose as my career, it makes me kind of emotional actually, because yeah, even when like I won, I don't think it's sunk in over the last 2-3 for the rest of my life. It'll probably sink in that had happened, you know. There'll be no one younger than Brielle to win that series, I wouldn't think, ever. So that's a really amazing title that she deserves to be the youngest ever person to win a series. And yeah, to do it on the same day was just cool. You know, we were only a young couple then too.
Yep.
So who knows, you know, what's in the future, but it's something that you have for the rest of your life. Very special, yeah.
It was pretty amazing to watch. So mate, let's chat about, before we chat about what a normal day is for you, what's race day look like for you?
Yeah, race day is pretty cool. You know, obviously me and Brielle travel around together. So we wake up together, we go down for a swim, have a look at the course, float around, have a chat, you know, just hang out. You know, you got to get to know the area, get familiar. A bit like a surfer, really.
Yep.
Just want to look at it.
Exactly, I get that.
Just chill out, have a coffee and just check it out.
Yeah.
Which is what we do in the morning. And then we have brekkie. The racing's normally about 11. And then Brielle, I have to sit in the room for a bit longer because Brielle races before me. So she needs to go down an hour before. So she goes down and then I sit there and just wait for a bit, which is a really weird period. I like to just...
What type of things go through your head then?
Yeah, lots. You know, I'm very focused on my preparation. I like to think about it a lot because I know I'm one of the best prepared.
Yep.
So I like to have solace in that fact. You know, put some headphones in, lie my back on the floor, palms up, you know, check it out, think about the format, think about what I've got to do, think about no mistakes. And sometimes it doesn't work out, you know. I think back on that preparation and you have a bad race, right? And you think back, what did I do wrong? I was sitting in that room and I was thinking about the wrong stuff, was I? But you just have to have your processes and stick with them, you know, through thick and thin, and they've normally worked. So,
and you visualize the win?
Visualize a lot. Yeah, I believe a lot in visualization. And the more I hear about elite athletes and how much video they watch, how much replays, how much actual other games of other teams they watch, would have a very distinct correlation with their performance, I reckon. So think about it a lot. Try and watch as many races as I can. I hate watching my bad races. Hate it. But I try and watch them all.
You have to. Got to watch them all.
Yeah. Yep. And then I just pack my drinks and whatever I need for the day and mosey on down, which is a really nervous thing, walking down to the beach. You know, lots of kids saying hello. And
how are you at that stage as a human? Are you like, yeah, I'm here for you, high-fiving, or the focus is on? And
I'm definitely high-fiving, but I just got the lump in the throat. I'm not overly engaging. You know, just try and put on a brave face and go down. And Brielle's normally kind of getting ready to race by that point. So this is now before my race, which is the hour she races in. Got to go over and see her. And she's normally a nervous wreck as well that's putting on a brave face. Give her a kiss and say good luck, and off she goes. And so I have to go and do my warm-up while she races, which is kind of weird. Yep. And I'm bloody trying to focus every fibre of my being on getting my warm-up done correctly. And there's she getting smashed or leading or whatever. And I'm just like, nah, don't watch too much of that. And yeah, so it's a crazy day. It's a full-on day. And then I obviously put my foot on the line and have a go, and, you know, win, lose or draw, kind of have to go back to Brielle. And if she's gone bad or I've gone good, normally we go well together and we go bad together. So it goes well like that.
Lift your game up, Brielle.
Yeah. Yeah. So, it's a really awesome, it's an awesome sport. It honestly is amazing. You know, we get to do some crazy formats, and this summer, hopefully, will be awesome.
And do the athletes have a lot of say into where the event's going and what the structure of each event is like, or is that just something delivered to you and you turn up and do your thing?
Yeah, it's kind of delivered. You know, we've got very standard formats now. Over the years, we've kind of had to make some exciting formats, and we've kind of discovered that, I think. I'm lucky enough to be on a bit of an advisory panel, which we get to talk to SLSA and Nutri-Grain and all the, you know, stakeholders about making the most exciting product. And, you know, I don't really add much, to be honest. Everyone knows what we have to do, and it's just a matter of putting the years together and putting together on a good product. And I think last year was really exciting. You know, we got some exciting new locations hopefully this year, pending everything that's going on. And I just think, the sport's in a good space to go forward with some cool stuff that is there, good to go.
I mean, how important, I mean, obviously when you think of clubbies, you think of tradition, you go into any surf club in Australia and there's just the greatest bunch of people ever when you walk upstairs. So you've just moved to Northcliffe. So how's the culture changed there? Because we were with Northcliffe for years as a brand. We did a lot when they won world titles and things like that. And we set up some pretty cool stuff with them as far as recovery goes and that. But just the history of that club and did they really immerse you in that when you turn up?
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, it's I'm so excited for the next few years just because of Northcliffe. And I think looking from afar, coming from Clifton Beach, I always looked at Northcliffe as the benchmark.
Yep.
I always thought about going there, to be honest. But when I started coming good and making the series, I was like, I want to build a big surf club like that. You know, they're the champs. You know, Shannon's the champ. He's done so well. That whole club had done so well, and I thought I can build that. You know, I can do that and help the sport in that way. And you know, it just didn't work out at Kurrawa. You know, I spent 5 years there, and I felt, you know, I was treasurer there in the final year. It got to that
Really?
point, yeah. But you know, I just wanted to help. You know, I just wanted to make the sport bigger by creating a nice surf club and a great atmosphere. And it wasn't to be. You know, it wasn't their fault. It wasn't my fault. It was just something that fizzled. And yeah, I just got to step into Northcliffe and just be welcomed with open arms by, you know, Shore & Partners, who helped me get there, and just walked into this huge media conference, and, you know, just awesome. That's how the sport should be done. That's how surf clubs who want to do that kind of thing should run them. And yeah, so exciting. It's so comforting to be there. The culture is awesome. You know, you walk in there, there's 3 whiteboards every afternoon of all the 3 different squads, the sessions they're doing, analyze that, you know, watch them all peel off onto the beach to do their respective things. And the junior movement coming through is massive, and some awesome sponsors there as always, you know, like you said. And yeah, very exciting times.
And you've got some big shoes to fill there. There's been some big names go through that club in the last 8 to 10 years.
Yeah. There's just all up in the surf club. It's just massive photos of, you know, not just Shannon, but his brother, and yeah, all the Taplin teams they've won. And it's big shoes to fill. And I'm quite nervous, to be honest. You know, a lot, like you speak about all these results here, and I don't really look at it like that. I'm like, yeah, I got a bit lucky that day, and that really helped me. So yeah, I'm no Shannon Eckstein, and I don't think anyone probably ever will be. So, you know, I'm just, me and Paulie will do our thing and hope drag the club, and, well, you know, just join the club, I suppose, and keep those results coming.
Yeah, mate, for a surf club to get you and Paulie in the same year, what's going on there? You two talking to each other, or?
Yeah, it was a really weird off season, you know, obviously for the whole world. But yeah, we ended up in the same spot, and I called up Paulie because we keep business to the side. We always have. Great mates, and there's no need to talk about it. You know, it's easier that way, and you do your own thing. And you know, I finally came to the conclusion. I was like, right, let's pull the green light. I'm coming. Then I said, right, what's Paulie doing? You know, as soon as I said that, and he said, hang on a minute, and he called me back. He goes, Paulie's coming too. So I called Paulie and I said, hey mate, I heard you wearing maroon and white this summer. He goes, yep, heard you are too. So yeah, we keep that aside, and you know, it's good to still be with him.
Because you two have trained for a long time together, haven't you?
Ever since I left, 18 years old, moved in with him at Mooloolaba, and yep, 10 years on, we're still not living together anymore. We moved out after last year and grinding away together.
Nice. Mate, he's one of my favourite athletes too. I just love the bloke. I mean, the day he wore pink hair to a competitive event, he had me forever. Like, I love it.
He knows how it's done. And honestly, a credit to that relationship is I've learned how to promote myself through him. You know, he's probably the best.
Oh, he's one of the best.
Yeah. He's the best Ironman to do that. You know, you put him and Shannon together like that, who knows what could happen, you know, both strengths in different areas. So I've learned a lot from both of them, and one's PR, one's, you know, performance. You know, they've both got it all.
Oh, mate, what Pooley's done with Red Bull for the sport is awesome, if you ask me. Like, you know, he needs a big tick forever on that one. That's worldwide athlete, Ironman. You know,
really good.
Got to commend him on, because that's a tough gig, as you said. Like, you get approached by a lot of people to do a lot of things. You're telling me now, so it's really hard to run a social media account and be diligent to sponsors in that area, because they all want a piece of you, don't they? And
yeah, well, that's the current athlete. You got a lot of things you need to do. And it's not just training and racing anymore. You can't just, well, for our sport anyway, you need to be doing a lot of other things. Sometimes you can get distracted. You know, it's not money you want. You don't do this sport because of money. You don't do it for sponsors. Like, don't do it to get the sponsors. You do it because you love it and for the results and for the training and getting the most out of yourself. So sometimes you lose sight of that, and it's really hard. It's a really crucial balance that you need to do. And yeah, hopefully keeping that balance in order.
Nice. So, mate, who support, apart from you stealing our supplements off Brielle, I'm going to drop that for everyone to hear. Who's looking after you on the sport?
You know, I'm very obviously proud to be representing Northcliffe and Shore & Partners this summer. And
he's doing a lot with, or I shouldn't say he, there's one partner in Shore & Partners who is just an absolute athlete. Just loves it, Yeah, loves ocean ski paddling probably himself, but has generated a love for Ironman racing as well. And we've got a really cool race week coming up in November
November, full just surf sports racing. It's just going to be unreal. So he's a massive.
So putting a lot of money and moving you guys all around the world to do competitive type activities too. Huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Flying us around, to Hawaii to do Molokai, not just the ski, but also board paddling, things like that. Awesome. Making that available for us is, that's life changing kind of thing. Yeah. So massive for the sport, massive for the athletes, Shipstern partners. And, obviously Nutri-Grain have given me these massive opportunities as well, which is,
now that you're events coordinator.
Yeah, pretty much. Engine swim as well. So I'm just been blessed with the best sponsors, and I've had them for a long time. And, like I said, that balance of sponsors to training is really hard. You need to make sure you're doing it all, and very lucky to have them on board.
Oh, mate, because I'm sure Nutri-Grain, because we run ambassadors too, they call you up and go, mate, we need a picture of you holding a bowl of cereal. Can you hurry up and do it? I like it. And that's a tough gig because you need to be real in your Instagram. Speaking of Insta, mate, what is your Instagram?
Matt.Bevilacqua. You can spell it.
You ready?
Maybe you'll come up, BEVY. Give it a go.
Yeah, there you go. Jump on that one. Mate, let's talk about your fitness. What's a training day look like?
I'll do a Coolangatta Gold one, I suppose, which is the prep we're up to now. We've got 15 weeks until the Coolangatta Gold, which is a 4-hour endurance Ironman race. So basically I'll be up in the morning for swimming most mornings, 5 a.m, 5:30 to 7:30 is swimming. So 2 hours in the pool, and normally run through the day, do a run and gym set through the day, which is running can be anything from, like a track session from 25 minutes or a long distance run up to 50 minutes. And then in the afternoons we're into the Northcliffe Surf Club, and we're training off the beach there, doing ski and board paddling.
So how many hours a day is that?
Oh, you'd say it was, average of 3 hours a day for 6 days a week. Yeah. Wow. Maybe more. Wednesday and Saturday mornings are 2 hours plus. Saturday mornings, you get up to the Coolangatta Gold distance, which is 4 hours. Coming up to full volume, you're pushing 25 plus hours a week at least. Really tough sport, 4 different disciplines. We're racing 4 hours, but then Australian titles is 10 minutes. The Nutri-Grain Ironman series races are 45 minutes. So we're every single different.
You're not even training for one sport with one discipline. You're training for multiple.
Yeah. Wow. All different energy systems, 4 different disciplines in flat water surf, in 10-foot surf, in cross chop, anything. It's so variable, and I think some of these guys are the best in the world, and it's really hard.
So do you track how many calories a day you burn?
No, I don't. I just eat as much as I can, to be honest.
So you can eat anything you want. I hate people like you.
You're welcome to come and jump in the pool though, Greg.
Oh, no, mate. I don't think I'd be running the same physique if I was doing your training. So, mate, what's next?
Yeah, like I said, so the Coolangatta Gold in October. Really looking forward to the Nutri-Grain Ironman series starting off in December.
It's definitely starting?
Yeah, at this stage, we've got a new location too down south. So big wave spot, fingers crossed, It's just funny old world out there at the moment, and really hope, things will come good reasonably quickly. It's only July, but if we can hold it together and have a good summer, we might be, have a few eyes on the sport due to, a few things impacting international sport. Yeah, so really looking forward to that. We had a great summer last year with SLSA joining up with Nutri-Grain to run the series, and I think that relationship with SLSA running the sport is a good one.
Makes sense.
And a sponsor running the sport isn't quite kosher. So I think we're in a really good space to move forward, and we've got such young talent coming through, and really looking forward to it.
And so when's Molokai training start?
Yeah, obviously Molokai is in their summer, which is now over in Hawaii, and I would have been racing my 6th Molokai in 2 weeks' time. So normally I'm at full volume for Molokai, covering about, 4 hours on a Saturday morning on the board, going down to Byron and paddling back, and
going down to Byron and paddling back.
Brunswick back to Coolangatta is about 40k. So
is that part of your shark training for the Molokai? Seriously,
absolutely terrifying down that stretch. I'm paddling fast,
and
I'll make sure the wind's hooking, so I'm moving pretty quick, and I don't have to put my hands in too much. It's just surfing. So miss out on that this year, but that'll be on this time next year. Hopefully, Brielle will go again as well. She got 3rd last year and had a great race. So I'm going to miss my Hawaii trip this year. 5 years, 6 years basically of preparation for that race. So it's been a different winter. It feels different, yeah.
Yeah, it would. So what exciting things you do in your life then? If you're not going to tell us too much about what's next. So mate, we're not paddling Molokai this year. So what else are we doing that's exciting?
Well, actually, earlier in the year, I was lucky lucky enough to go on Ninja Warrior. Yeah, it was a good fun time. It was rather nerve-wracking, you know. I've always wanted to picture to portray the sport in a good light, and I thought Ninja Warrior definitely wasn't that space. So yeah, you know, you got to put yourself out there, and a lot of cool vision that I can use for my introduction and things like that. I can show the world the sport and get some eyes on it, which is, you know, like I've said, that's all I want to do, and that's the platform to do it. So off I went and had to go, and like I said, very nervous. Only had a couple of days notice. Not sure which date my episode will be on, but I'll put it on my socials. Yeah.
Yep, which is
matt.bevilacqua.com. BVY, we'll bring it up.
That's gold. That's gold. So, mate, what made you want to do Ninja Warrior? I mean, obviously, you just gave us the promoting the sport to a bigger audience and that, which is, you know, commend you on that. But you can also look like a real fuckwit on that too, you know, like that first grip doesn't go well or that first run doesn't go to plan. Yeah,
look, to be honest, I didn't really want to go on it. Okay. It was Nutri-Grain pushed me to do it.
Yep.
And credit to them is they know what's good for the sport, and they always have. And look what they've done with me. You know, they know what they're doing. And like you said, it wasn't going to portray me very well because I'm not overly coordinated. I've got nice power to weight ratio, you know, chin ups, things like that. But it's just not that. It's really coordination and doing weird stuff. And I thought I can't see this looking good for me. And then respectively the sport, you know, Ironman will be laughed at a little bit. But you know, that's the day and age, and that's what Nutri-Grain said to me. It's like this is how promotion works.
Yeah.
And you got to step outside your comfort zone. You got to show people a raw emotion and something you don't do every day, because you know you train 25 hours a week for this sport. Of course you should be bloody going well, you know. So when those flames went off and I was just looking at the quintuple steps or whatever they're called, I was utterly terrified. And there's Brielle like getting told to scream at me and cheer me on. So I don't think I've ever been more nervous for anything in my life than I was at that moment. Honest to God, Shippies give me that every day of the week. I thought I was going to fall on that first step straight in the drink, which just would have been terrible. But yeah, make sure you tune on, check it out. It's not as bad as I made it sound to be, and it was a great time.
You got the biggest smile on your face right now.
I just can't wait till you see my face. Terrible. I'm so scared.
How was it for you competing that close to crowds and fire, and obviously a lot of cameras too? Like your sports, when you're out in the ocean, there's a lot of cameras around you, but they're not in your face. How was that?
Yeah, I honestly didn't notice it. So they do it really well. I didn't really notice the cameras too much. I think they must have just, you know, really awesome big cameras just sitting on the stands and swiveling on all the, infrastructure there. It's a massive thing. And the crowds are crazy. They make sure they're cheering and cheer for hours. It was a long, long night. It's a big process, but a lot of fun. And it was good.
Did you get a trial run or straight in?
Straight in. Oh, no trials.
No idea.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that's a scary, you know, that's what I'm saying. Like the quintuple steps look easy, and it's not until you actually have to go and do them that you can actually figure them out and see what angle they are and how far they're apart. And you're kept in a room. Everyone goes and does their run.
Yeah.
So you're kept in a room. You can't, you know, look at it or see how everyone else goes or what they do. And, this is season 4 this year. So there's a lot of professionals that are doing it, and they're getting really, really good. And so, you know, they're talking about, what's the grip we do for this? What training have you been doing? Yeah, I've made my own thing at the gym, and I'm just there going, I've got swimming in the morning, and all I did yesterday was ski paddle. So hopefully my grip strength's on or something, you know. So
you didn't do any ninja training at all?
No, I honestly got told 2 or 3 days out. It was Corona hit. It was during March, the filming was. So even then, I wasn't sure I'd even be able to get down there. And me and Brielle were kind of in Melbourne stressing a bit, you know, because it was all happening, and I didn't think they'd finish filming, but they followed all the state and federal guidelines and got it done and did it really well, and they've got a good product.
Mate, as an athlete, what's COVID done to you? Is it, apart from that, probably some little niggles heal?
Yeah, no, it has. It's really refreshed me, and had a break, which, like I was saying, for Molokai, it's every winter in our off season, so I haven't had an off season in 6 years.
Wow.
And like I said, I love what I'm doing, so it hasn't been too much of a problem, but I think it's a good thing that I've had a break. One of those things that was meant to be, unfortunately. You know, it's a bad thing that happened, but got to sit back, just get refreshed, just surf at home, get a puppy, you know, come back down to earth a bit. And it was a hard time for the sport, hard time for surf clubs. I had to do a few massive changes, but but, you know, everything happens for a reason. And I think a lot of people, you know, who've been affected by it have found that positive viewpoint from it, I think, which is good. So I'm sticking to that, and I think it's been a good thing.
Yeah, nice. Well, mate, I can't thank you enough for coming on. You've been one since that day I met you at Supercars, and I think it was in the mowing.
First date that one was Craig. You kicked off the relationship.
I know. I remember Brielle brought you along, and we were going, "Oh, who's this dude?"
Oh, thanks, mate.
She was born the same week as my daughter in the same hospital, so we had met many, many years earlier, but not for a long time. But mate, I'm just really glad you came. I've always looked up to you. You've just been. I watch you in your space. You are a true role model. You're a great human. You're great for the sport. I think Nutri-Grain has done an amazing job in letting you chase those dreams that you have, because there's a lot of kids out there who Nutri-Grain is their first introduction to sport. And our house went through it. Taj, as a kid, it was Nutri-Grain. Like, how many bowls can I eat? And, you know, whose picture's on the box? And speaking of that, what's it like walking down a supermarket aisle and seeing your picture on the box?
Yeah, I'm turning all the boxes around.
I see you turning poolies ones around.
Yeah, if someone's turned poolies around, I've already turned it back around.
He's in there first, turning yours around. But mate, it's great having you on board. Yeah, let's catch up for a beer one day soon. You're a good man.
Absolutely. Thanks very much, Greg. And right back at you. Cheers.
Cheers. Today's podcast was brought to you by our partners in Fit, Happy and Healthy, ASN, Nutrition Warehouse, DY Discount Vitamins, Fat Burners Only, Evelyn Faye, Mr. Supplement, or find a retailer online at bodyscience.com.au/retailers.